In the summer of 2005, I met a girl. My girl. Emma was my first serious girlfriend, and I found myself caring for her a great deal rather quickly. She had a personality unlike any other girl I had ever met, and she intrigued me. She was so smart, so pretty, and kind of odd in some ways, but I loved it. You could say it was her most endearing factor. The first 3 months went along without a hitch. We spent a lot of time together. We laughed, we talked, we shared dreams we had and fears we harbored. I told her my ridiculous fear of the dark, and of my also overreactive imagination. She told me about her fear of dead people. I kinda laughed when she first told me that one. It was kinda lame, and I thought, just dead people? I mean, certainly just dead people aren't so scary by themselves. We had a laugh about that, and continued hanging out with each other, and generally loving every single minute that we had together. Things went on beautifully for 3 months, and I honestly could not have asked for anything more perfect in my entire life. She was the girl I didn't even know I was waiting for, and I was the guy she had always dreamed of. About a month later, she called me on the phone, which was nothing new, although I did still love it every time she did. We spent a lot of time talking on the phone. It was our favorite thing to do other than physically being near each other. She was telling me about her day at school. At her high school, she didn't really have a lot of friends, which I found really hard to believe. She was having a bad day, and she was just glad to be home and to be on the phone with me. I was glad to be on the phone with her too, trust me. I wasn't having the greatest day myself. Around 6 o'clock, we were watching the same show on TV while talking on the phone, something we did whenever we weren't allowed to come over to each other's houses because her mother, my mother, whatever worked out. Well, in this particular case, her mother had just left, and Emma was talking to me about what had just happened on TV. Then the commercials stopped, and then the program resumed. After about another 2 commercial breaks, I noticed that neither of us had said anything for a while. So, of course, me being the idiot I am, made some stupid comment about the ridiculous commercial that was on at the moment. She didn't say anything. I called her name, and still she didn't answer. I called her name like 6 times before she even acknowledged me. She just kind of grunted at me. I wondered if she was alright, and she said something. It was a sentence alright, but it just didn't really make any words. At first I thought she was trying to freak me out or something, playing an elaborate joke. She was breathing heavily and erratically, and her words seemed to be difficult to her. She seemed very distant and not at all like herself. I can't remember exactly what she was saying at first. It was muffled and distorted. And there was this noise. A banging noise. The longer that I listened, the louder that it got. I eventually asked Emma what the noise I was hearing. She got silent for a second before responding. You can hear that? Of course I can hear that. It's loud as hell. What is that? She paused for a moment. It seemed to drag on and on. It's them, she said. And that's all she said. I was genuinely kind of freaked out, but somewhere in my mind I still thought she was messing with me as part of some really fucked up joke. You gotta be joking, right? This is all some kind of game and you're just gonna laugh at me about this later, right? Don't mock them! She interrupted fiercely. She sounded worried, almost panicked. They don't like it. I thought this was funny. She was really going through a lot to play this joke on me. To which I laughed audibly. They'll find you. Her voice sounded almost unnatural, as if someone else was talking. She hung up the phone right after that. I called her back a few times, but no one answered. Now, worried out of my mind, I put my jacket on and left my house. Oh God, I hope she was okay. I rushed to her apartment, and when I was a half mile from the house, my car battery just had to die. I was too worried about Emma to let that small piece of crap car get in my way. I had to know she was okay. I would worry about that piece of shit later. I locked it up and began running the rest of the way to her apartment. The sun was almost set after a short bit of running, and my lungs were starting to burn from the cold, crisp air of the fall. I still didn't know, to this day, if what happened next was some kind of trick my eyes played due to the low amounts of light, or if I was just worrying so much, or if I was just out of breath and I hallucinated. I don't know. Actually not sure that what I saw even actually happened. Maybe I just imagined it. These things with long, gangly limbs that bent backwards crossed the street as if leaving her house. I jumped. My heart was racing. I now thought she was in serious danger, and I mustered up all the courage. I had to run to the front door. It was left ajar. I went in screaming her name. My heart now felt like it was going to burst through my chest. Surely I had to be hallucinating. Lack of oxygen. Yeah, that's it. I was breathing heavily as I searched for her in the house. I found her in the living room, curled in a ball. Her skin was paper white, and her pupils were enormous. She was shaking, and she seemed to be in a comatose state. Emma, dear, please. But she wouldn't respond. She wouldn't respond to anything. Not even when I touched her, shook her, nothing! I picked her up and took her to her room. I laid her down onto her bed, and I noticed her eyes were darting across the wall behind me. Not in a random kind of pattern, but as if she was following something. Her eyes reached the space in the wall directly behind me, and they stopped. Her eyes widened as she began shaking again. Her mouth was wide open, as if she was screaming, but she couldn't. Leaning over her, frozen in pure, unadulterated fear, I tried to make myself turn around. Part of me did not want to meet whatever it is that was driving her insane. But the other part of me, the one that wanted to protect my love, forced me to turn around. And as I did, I saw that thing. Another one of those things. It was gray, its limbs bent backwards. It hung from the place on the ceiling where the wall met, clutching with all four of its wicked long claws. It hung there and stared at me with its sunken-in eyes. I couldn't make out if they were holes or just the blackest eyes I didn't even know were possible, because all that was there was just black. The loud sound I heard over the phone earlier was back. The wind blinds that hung from her window were banging themselves against the windowsill, as if someone were lifting them and throwing them against it again and again and again. The sound was very fast and very loud. My ears were starting to ring as the thing slowly inched its way up the wall, across the ceiling towards us. Every moment, the ringing got louder. Soon the thing was directly above us, clutched the ceiling. Its face zoomed in at us. Its neck stretched. I saw the black eyes and the stitched mouth coming closer and closer. My chest was hurting like an inferno, most likely from my heart that was trying to leap out of my chest. And I was beginning to black out. And I don't remember what happened. I remember waking up next to Emma and seeing her there, still curled up, eyes still darting across the room. I looked around, but that wicked demon was gone. Emma, please! Are you okay? What happened? But still, she didn't respond. It took 10 minutes of me sitting there, holding her like my life depended on it. Emma, please. Emma, please stop. Please be okay. Emma, God, please be okay. Emma, please be okay. Please. Finally, she started to respond. Thankfully. God, thank you for letting her respond. I was scared to take her to the hospital after what happened, though. I don't know how I would explain it. Emma? She blinked suddenly and looked at me. I swallowed deep. Emma? What the hell is going on? She looked at me with genuine surprise. What are you talking about? When did you get here? Could it be she didn't remember a damn thing, and she couldn't even explain where she got those gashes in her arm. A week after that, I was at her house, and I decided to ask her finally about what happened. I wanted some answers after that hellish night. She still didn't remember what the hell had happened, but she did have something to say about it, though, thankfully. She told me that her fear of dead people stemmed from the fact that she used to see what she thought were dead people. Sometimes she did still see these things, but she learned over the years that they weren't dead people at all. She couldn't exactly say what they were, though, but she explained how some would talk to her and others wouldn't. Some would just stare at her, and others would avoid her. Ultimately, some were nice and others were malevolent. She said that the face in her ceiling told her most of what she knows of them. He explained that not a lot of them are good. He also warned her of a tall, dark man who wanted her all to himself. He explained to her that the freaky limb things were the tall man's. The tall man's? Where have I heard that before? Oh well. But she later said that they were there to protect her from anyone else, but also keep her caged. She told me about how they would hurt her sometimes, and that her bed was the only safe place most of the time. Whenever she had her, I don't even know what to call them, episodes, her bed was surrounded by water, supposedly, and the only things that could get there were us. She also told me that they made her... She told me that they made her hurt herself when she had been bad. I love this girl. Despite all that crazy shit stories that she told me, still wanted to be there for her. I wanted to help her. And it didn't take very long for me to figure out that being with her was harmful to her. After 3 years, I had witnessed episode after episode after every terrifying, horrible episode. I had learned how to calm her down within a few minutes. I had even got her to stop mutilating her arms. The last few months of our relationship, she didn't see anything at all. No cutting, no episodes, not a thing. I was glad, although I did feel ashamed, because I didn't get her any professional help. Although, I can't deny how elated I am, and a little proud, that she seemed to be getting much better by the day. However, all of this changed. Everything I loved, everything I had valued, all that I had cared for, all that was her, changed. That night I proposed to her. I got down on one knee. Emma, I love you so much. Will you please marry me? She responded, yes, of course I will. It was the happiest day of our lives. That night, we went to a concert to celebrate. I took her to see her favorite band, which was secretly mine also. The band came on last, and I stood there, holding her as tightly as I could. We both sung the songs at the top of our lungs, being crazy kids. She turned around during one of the slower songs and put her arms around me. And I did the same. And I just realized how much I loved her. I had spent most of my life with this woman, and I still, to this day, love every little thing about her. Her red hair, her cute green eyes, her tiny body, her awkward wrists, her freckles that danced across her body. I loved everything. But as I looked at her, I only saw that her eyes were looking into the distance behind me, towards the back of the venue. I looked back, but I saw nothing. But I knew what she was looking for. No! No, no, no! Not now! Damn it! This was the perfect day! The perfect night! I grabbed her chin and pulled her face to look at me. Just look at my eyes, dear. Nowhere else. Emma, damn it, you look at me! She struggled, but she did just that. I stood there, holding her, as we looked at each other. Emma, you keep looking at me. It's not real, okay? Honey, it's not real. It's not real. Just remember that. Please, dear, just remember that, okay? She would just nod her head, tears falling from her eyes. The song ended, and so did her episode. I dropped her off at her house, and after the most loving kiss I had ever shared with that woman, I got into my car and headed home. Once home, I took a quick shower and readied for bed. Man, I was completely exhausted. After drying off, I laid down in bed and went to sleep. Or at least I started to. I was jolted awake by the sound of my blinds banging. My heart stopped as I saw one of those things. Those wicked things right above my bed. The last thing I saw was its face coming right at me. I woke up from the blackness next morning with the same gashes Emma had on her arms. My mind instantly jumped to Emma. I raced to the phone to call her, but I never got a response. When I stopped by her house, her mother answered the door and told me she didn't want to see me. What do you mean she doesn't want to see me? I'm her fiancé. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. After a week, I couldn't stand living like this. Where was Emma? Why didn't she want to see me? I didn't hear a damn thing from her. No replies on her Facebook or MySpace, LiveJournal, anything! It's like she didn't... It's like she walked out on me. I didn't hear anything for 2 years. 2 years without my perfect Emma. I could never tell you how many times I needed her in those 2 years. I could never tell you how many nights I wish she was laying with me. I can never tell you how many moments I wish I could have. I could never explain the extent of how it feels to have everything you love taken away like that. After those 2 years, I stumbled upon her on Facebook. And she was in a relationship. My heart sank. It more than sank. It felt like it withered and died that second. Why? Why, Emma? What did I do? I kept thinking, what did I do to make her leave? But I couldn't come to her with that. Not after 2 years of not even talking. I messaged her very formally, asking how she was, but also very subtly asked what happened between us. She didn't respond for 3 days, and when she did, I was dumbfounded. She told me that she was heartbroken for a whole month when I broke up with her? What? She said that she cried in her mom's arms for weeks and weeks, and she thought she'd never stop. She told me that she even made me a card and a painting, both of which she had been working on for months without me even knowing, and she sent them to me the week I supposedly did all this horrendous crap that I would never do to her in my life. She wanted to get me back by saying those things to her, and I just apparently lied saying I never got them. I wanted to argue with her that I had never, ever broken up with her. I wanted to tell her all these things that I have been aching with for these past 2 years. I needed to tell her that I freaking still loved her. I still needed her in my life. God, everything has been different, and I don't like it. I need my Emma. I can't function right. I can't sleep. I can't work. I can't do anything. I needed Emma. still in love with her. I still was, and I still am. I would never, ever end what we had. But I got the suspicion that she was happy now. I asked her about the guy she was with. Of course she replied he had proposed to her. Of course she said yes. She told me that she was truly happy. That's when I asked her about the things that she saw. She did not remember a damn thing. Her episodes were gone. I felt completely lost. I had been destroyed from the inside out. I spent the next month or two talking about the past with her. She didn't even recall most of our relationship. I would ask her about some of my most favorite memories with that angel, and the angel just shrugged. She didn't remember that she used to induce pain to herself. She didn't remember anything she used to see, whether it was good, bad, or me. And she didn't remember that she was once engaged to me. Nor did she remember that amazing night we had at the concert, when I finally protected her from those things. All she knew was that we were together once, and that I broke her heart for several months. I still love Emma with every fiber of my being. And I want to figure out what the hell happened. What went wrong? I don't think I deserve that much of a relationship or anything. I think what I deserve is a damn answer. I honestly thought for a while, after everything that happened, that perhaps she said that she had some sort of mental illness or something. I mean, everything she had experienced was practically textbook paranoid schizophrenia. It could be easy. It could be so easy to chalk it up to that. Even after explaining these symptoms to my professor of a psychology class, or after 5 years of research that I have poured into trying to find a way to explain these events and maybe possibly help Emma just find a way to be in her life. Almost everything adds up to schizophrenia, which I can help her with now. Everything adds up. But one thing I can't figure out is why I still see those damned wicked demons on my ceiling some nights.